Well, hi, friends. Thank you so much for going through this 30-day devotional towards better relationships. I am thoroughly convinced that 2014 is the year to do relationships better. And it has been a joy just sitting with my friends, tremendous people, tremendous individuals, but also tremendous leaders in their respective fields of influence. And we have been discussing my brand new book, The People Factor. I hope you got it. I hope you're reading it. If you are, I know it's blessing you. If you have not picked it up, make sure that you do so immediately. Do not pass go. Go to the bookstore, get The People Factor, because I know it's going to bless your life. Hey guys, we've been discussing several aspects about the book, and I will give this disclaimer. This chapter that we're getting ready to talk about, chapter 9, is a big one. Yes. It's one that I've wrestled with even while I was writing it, and I wrestled with the concept even before God gave me an opportunity to put it in words. Because one of the most important factors of any relationship is loyalty. Yes. Whether it's a personal relationship, whether it is a professional relationship, whether it's a marriage, loyalty is one of the most important characteristics. I've had an opportunity to sit with numerous couples, and I can tell you the biggest heartache for many couples that don't make it successfully in marriage revolves in some way, shape, or form around a lack of loyalty. Loyalty is indispensable to any healthy relationship, but we often only think of loyalty oftentimes from the bottom up. But loyalty works both ways. Every relationship has to be based upon loyalty. If not, it's a recipe for disaster. So we got to dig into this one. Roxanne, let's jump into it, because this is a big one. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
A lot of times, Pastor Van, when we think about loyalty, we think about employee loyalty to an employer. Yeah. But you just opened my mind to a new dimension, thinking about King David and his lack of loyalty in his leadership. Yeah. I love King David. I think he's fascinating. I've studied him quite a bit. There's so much to learn from his life. He was disloyal. Look what happened. Yeah. Murder. Yeah. This is serious business, the business of loyalty. And I think in America, we have really lost our grip on what that's about. You see in corporate America a complete lack of loyalty among leadership to employees. While they have a $4,000 golden toilet, people are losing their jobs and they don't have health insurance.
Yeah. And they almost sometimes don't care.
Well, they seem very crass in their approach to how they feel about who they want to inspire to follow them. Yet Jesus was the ultimate servant. He was washing feet. Do you see corporate America doing that now? What would an employee do who follows a leader who's willing to serve them for a change? And so you've just opened my mind to a brand new dimension with this discussion.
Wow, this is good. Wow. This is good.
Roxanne, you bring up a so powerful point. And for me, this one hits home because we're talking about loyalty. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about a lot of things that people don't value at all in this day and age that we're in, and especially when it's a point where people are so intent on whatever they can do to get to the top, whoever they can step over, and it doesn't matter what happens to anybody below them. And I think that that's something that for me struck a chord for me, because I dealt with that. I dealt with someone who wasn't loyal, someone who left you in a situation that was very damaging, but yet and still at the end of the day it was about their prestige, what they could get, and how it could promote them. And this chapter just opened up that can of worms for me, but it really brought my eyes to see that it's a situation. It was healing, because deep down I still deal with that, and it was healing for me, because when you start dealing with finances and you start dealing with people's personal life, that affects you.
Very much so.
It affects you. But this chapter really was healing as well. I was sitting on the couch reading to myself, and I felt like I was on the couch with somebody talking to me. How do you feel?
Sly, I agree with you. There are a lot of people who should not be in leadership. And one of the things that I dislike the most, I won't say hate, I used to say hate, that I dislike the most is a disloyal leader. Leaders who are not willing to get in the grind and in the trenches with their people. I just think that is one of the worst types of leaders that you can be, because what you're telling me as an individual is that you're asking me to do something that you would never do, or that that you're better than me. And oftentimes we as leaders get to a certain point that we forget from whence we came. And then, we forget that we served. But I will not end this without saying something that we just mentioned before and a moment ago, and that is, if you cannot serve, you cannot be a leader.
Yeah.
And there is no way possible for you to be an effective leader if you cannot serve, and if you are not willing to serve not only those people that are above you, but the people that work for you and the people who have helped you to get where you are. I just don't think it's possible to be really a truly effective leader without having that trait.
One of the great examples for me in your book is actually not even an actual page, but you say, to the Worship Center Christian Church family, I am honored to serve the greatest church this side of heaven. Not run, not lead, but serve. And that is so important. And in this chapter, when you say it's bigger than Bathsheba, I think we get lost in that plot instead of focusing, and you touch on that, instead of focusing on David's interaction and lack of honor in his relationship with her husband. You lacked complete honor. I mean, yes, you had the affair. We understand that. But to be in a position where you manipulate. He manipulated the situation so that he could come out looking squeaky clean.
And I would argue that that's where the dishonor really came into the picture. See, I think what people do is they focus on the dishonor being the Bathsheba. I think the Bathsheba thing is a mistake. And I think all of us are prone to make mistakes. But I think sometimes what reveals whether you're a person of honor or dishonor, and whether you are integrous or not, is how you handle the mistake. And that's where I think David goes
big.
off.
He made a mistake, and then instead of correcting it and being forthcoming, he was cunning.
That's it. That's when I think it becomes so egregious that God says, no, I'm gonna have to deal with you.
Wow.
And I think that it happens so often. I think that relationships suffer not because people make mistakes. We're all human.
Yes, and God knows that.
And God knows that, which means that we're going to make mistakes. I got to tell you the story because I think that it fits this. I remember when my wife and I were dating, and she's so much wiser than I am. But I remember I was trying to be really nice and swoon her, and I would say things like, well, sweetie, I'll never hurt you. And she said, no, you will hurt me.
Wow.
She said, but I think that you won't try to do it intentionally. And when she said that, I was like, wow, that's it. Because in relationships, we will hurt each other.
Yes.
Unintentionally. But I think when you make those mistakes, the way you handle them is really what can or cannot open up a whole can of worms of disloyalty and dishonor and lack of integrity.
An ending of relationships that don't have to end.
There you go. There you go. Well, it's obvious that this chapter on the law of loyalty is really big for all of us in a number of different ways. And I think for those of you that are watching, if I could boil it down to a central principle or premise, it would be this. In relationships, don't expect what you're not willing to give. I think so often we want people to be loyal to us, but we're not loyal to them. And if by chance you are in a relationship that reeks because there is a lack of loyalty present, honestly, you might want to consider getting out as soon as possible. Because whenever there's a lack of loyalty within the relationship, the end result will always be pain, hurt, frustration, and almost unnecessarily disappointment. So hey, be sure to pick up the book if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow because it's getting better and better and better. In the words of my grandmother, it's getting gooder and gooder and gooder. Take care.